Risen, finally a fucking game that's just like The Witcher. Not The Witcher in general, just that it's some good things and some bad things. So anyway, Risen. Well, it's kinda just like Oblivion in terms of reviewing of how it is in the end. Where the game shines is the exploring, but it's a story that, well, that wants you to be engaged in. But the problem is that the story is not so fucking good, and that it's the more and more the farther you go into the game, the more story it is, and it just feels like a necessary evil to follow the fucking story. You rather want to explore because that's better. The only weird thing is when you come to an area that is full of enemies. After you kill those enemies, that area will be totally empty. Of course, it kind of feels realistic though, but it's kind of, well, ridiculous compared to how it was before. In the first the first time it's lots of fucking enemies anywhere, and if you just kill like some of them, they won't really respawn. They respawn after a chapter, but it's not so many, and they usually respawn right in the roads, and that's a bit retarded. Another thing is that, well, it's not so much to explore, but it's entertaining. It's better than the fucking story, just like Oblivion. The story is just some unnecessary evil that you need to do. The only weird thing is that the first two chapters of the game it can take extremely long time because of exploring. Because that's what you're gonna do anyway. The first chapter ain't really, you really need to choose what the fuck you're gonna do with the game. It just, well, you can go there to the story or you just fucking do anything else. But the story eventually comes to you. So fuck it. And I of course mean the main story, not the side quests. And later when, I mean after the first chapter, then you choose whether you want to become. Oh yeah, and on the gameplay side, the idea with if you want to be a warrior or fighter, then join the bandits. If you want to be a mage, then join the mages. If you can't decide and you get knocked and casted by the order and become something in between. Well, it was a good idea, but I don't really think it really worked that well. Anyway, I mean, eventually the story will come to you. So you will eventually get stuck somewhere and just follow the fucking line. The story was, but it didn't really fulfill itself in the end. So technically, the first chapters, I mean, the first chapter was good because it was just exploring. The second chapter was good because it was still exploring. You haven't really seen anything, and you got a was a teleport stone, so the island felt a lot smaller than before. So I mean that, well, more exploring. But then when you come to chapter 3, it's like 10 seconds, then it's chapter 4. And then you just need to fetch stuff. And then you get the best storm in the fucking game, and then it's the end of the game. I mean, it doesn't really. And with the story, it doesn't really fulfill itself. Because it sounds very good, but it doesn't really end. It's almost like a cliffhanger ending. It doesn't really fulfill itself. While the Oblivion story does fulfill itself, it really has an ending and it's kind of good. It's just how the way you got there, it fucking sucks. But anyway, Risen. The story is, well, it's not so fucking good. It sounded good, but it wasn't so fucking good. To the gameplay side, well, a lot of people say that it's a challenging game, and I say, well, yeah, it's kind of challenging, but eventually the challenging thing will just become ridiculous and, well, kind of stupid. If you're a mage, then you just need one fucking, obviously, rune magical bullet, and you spam that shit, and then you have to go. I mean, I know it's like exploiting stuff, but for fuck's sake, if the enemy can kill you in 2 hits and you can kill them in 15, of course you're gonna fucking spam shit on them. And the final boss was kind of meh too. And, well, that's everything there is. It's science and exploring, but the gameplay still wants to get to you, and eventually you gotta. I mean, the story wants to get to you, and eventually you gotta go with the story, and the story really isn't that great. It sounds great, but it isn't. And, well, about Region 2, when you go a pirate way of telling, it's I think it's good for the entire game that you go a pirate way, because how a pirate story is told, actually, if you're gonna put it in Risen, it kind of fits and it kind of becomes better. So yeah, And of course the ending brings more questions to, well, fucking answers. And it's not like Assassin's Creed style when you totally get it, but it's still what the fuck. Here it's like, what the fuck is going on? You think you get it, but you don't get it. It's kind of like Oblivion, but Oblivion's story is a little bit better, and exploring is a little bit better, and the gameplay is a little bit better. Another thing is that with the thing, when it all becomes empty after you clear area, the whole game feels so fucking lonely, actually. And in the game, it ain't any character that you feel adapt to or deployed to. It's just about you on the fucking island. Well, it does bring this fucking atmosphere in the big fucking beginning and all that shit, but meh. Oh well. Because after you in chapter 4 and something, then you just feel like a necessary evil that you gotta go to the fucking story. Like, oh, for fuck's sake, now I'm gonna go to the story to progress to the fucking game, and then it ends. And the ending is more like, it doesn't make sense, but it does make sense, but it doesn't make sense, but it does make sense. It maybe doesn't fulfill everything, like I said before. Oblivion's story fulfills everything. But this doesn't. Well, yeah, in conclusion then. Well, yeah, I mean, it ain't bad. Definitely not bad. But it ain't great. But it's better than average, so I would say that it's a good game. The truth about Risen, it's a good game. It's nothing much. It's not great, but it's not average either. Oh yeah, and a lot of the stuff when you can interact is pretty useless. I don't understand why the fucking are they anyway when you can't really do anything. Like sawing or brooming away stuff. I mean, why are they even there? I mean, maybe you do get something for sawing eventually, because I didn't waste so fucking much time on that shit. Oh, and another thing, when you have the ability to choose what to say in a dialogue, a lot of times he won't really say what he's supposed to say. And another thing, when you have only like, let's say, two sources of what to select to say, it's pretty useless because um, most of the time he would just say the other questions that were available after he's done with the first question. So it was just like, oh, but which question do you want to start with? Question one or question two? The latter, whatever you choose, the other will just come after. Derp. I mean, it's not. Of course, if it's just yes and no, then it's not the same. And it also feel like the story really doesn't have really a big freedom to choose where to go to the story. It just feels like it's one path, and somehow it's gonna stay on that path. But let's just give the player a lot of decisions, but he will stay on that path. It's not really that open, I think, because I haven't really tried bandit side, right? I just did one, and well, it just feels like, I don't say it's the truth. It just feels like it's just the same path. But then again, it wouldn't really make that much of a difference. But anyway, the truth about Risen, it's a good game. It's not great, but it's a good game. Truth about Risen, it's a good game.